This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hey everybody, this is Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight. It's time now to go out to the other coast of the United States, up to San Francisco, California, and talk to the lovely and attractive Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello,
yes,
Larry.
Yes, sir. Good. I'm doing much better. Last night, I didn't see my wallet, so then I'd realized I'd been out in the daytime earlier, so I thought, oh, my God, it fell out of my... I was walking up to the gym.
That's the worst feeling you can get.
Is that the worst? Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, what happened?
I'm running around in total panic, and then I came back up the apartment, then I go in the kitchen, and I'd left it on the sink for some reason, which I never do. But.
You left it on the sink, yeah.
Have you ever lost a wallet?
Yes, one day I keep my wallet. Where do you keep your wallet? In your back pocket or your front pocket?
Back pocket, yeah.
Yeah, I put it in my back pocket, and that's the worst place to put it. You should put it in your front pocket. Number one, nobody can really grab it from there unless they make you feel good, and it's harder to fall out. But I like the back pocket, you know. So, have you ever thought about changing your pocket?
Yeah, I always put it on the dashboard when I drive because it's a pain in the ass, literally, when you have your wallet in your back pocket, you're sitting down. But the front pocket would be good to keep away pickpockets.
Yeah.
I was reading that this must have been a panic. I was reading that remember Red Skelton, the old comedian?
Yeah.
He had played the Indiana State Fair in 1957 and got paid $10,000 in cash, which was a lot of money then.
Of course. And
he flew back to Los Angeles. He had the cash in a paper bag, and he left the bag on the plane.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
anyway, what happened once was that it only happened once here. I had it in my back pocket, and it fell out and fell on the sidewalk. And I came upstairs, right outside my apartment, came upstairs, couldn't find my wallet. All of a sudden, there's a ring on the doorbell. And I answer it, and they say, "Did you lose a wallet?" And they had found it on the street. And the guy came up and gave me my wallet. And I just, I had that, you get that feeling like, boy, did I dodge a bullet.
For sure, yeah.
And the problem is your wallet contains, I've thought about taking just the things I need out of the wallet and putting it in a smaller wallet, which I would carry around. But then you have to decide, which credit card am I going to use? Which credit card am I not going to use? What information do I need on me? Do I need all my my Medicare card and things like that? And by the time you're finished, you go, I may as well carry around my wallet. Because I'm still going to lose it all,
Yeah, and if you lose it, I was just going through my head last night with, oh, my God, I'm going to have to cancel the credit cards, get a new license, and all this shit you have to go through.
See, the credit card company should offer you a second credit card, which you don't activate, okay? You just keep it in case you lose your other one.
That's
and then
a
when
great
you lose
idea.
your other one, you can go online and say, I lost it, I'm activating the spare.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
They should, yeah, because they always have those ads. Yeah, we can replace it in a day, which is, it never happens.
Yeah. And then your license, your driver's license?
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, they should give you like 2 copies of your driver's license, just so you have one in case, and then maybe it has a slightly different letter on it And you, again, can go online and say, I want to deactivate the other one because I lost it. I want to activate the new one. And by the way, send me another extra card. You know.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Simple. But then again, you're dealing with the state of California and you're dealing with the DMV. And when you're dealing with the DMV...
and their 1958 computers.
Well, the DMV, you're not dealing with anybody or any existence that is sentient in this galaxy. Okay? I mean, these people are just somewhere else. You know, if anybody has ever gone to the California DMV, they know the horrors of the California. You figure, I got to go to the DMV today. When are you going to be back, dear? Well, I don't know. Maybe Tuesday? You know, it's terrible.
How bad is it in New York?
I can't remember. I went over. I had to renew my license, and I went over. I had all the stuff you got to get your doctor or something to your eye guy to. My eye guy signed something so that I don't have to take the eye test, and it took maybe an hour, hour and a half. It wasn't that bad because you make an appointment here. And they say, okay, Tuesday at 2 o'clock. So Tuesday at 2 o'clock you go down. And, of course, you're not taking care of it on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, but at least you're in a queue to get everything done. So it's a little more efficient here, but only slightly. I just remember the California DMV, every time I had to go to it, it was like a horror show, you know.
I know.
And they know, the funny part is, they know they're a horror show. Right?
Yeah.
And they don't do anything about it. They still make it as miserable an experience for a human being as you can possibly have.
Yeah, I used to I'd go to smaller towns and it'd be easier, like Petaluma, so it wouldn't be so crowded, so I could maneuver through there a little quicker to renew a license.
I saw a documentary on the guys, the Sherman brothers, who wrote a lot of the Disney stuff, all Mary Poppins and so on and so forth. Among those things, they wrote It's a Small World After All. And if you've ever been on the ride at Disney World, you go through the It's a Small World thing, and you go in a boat, and you go to different lands and things like that, and there are different puppets doing stuff, right? And remember Billy J? Billy J said he got stuck on that ride. It just stopped.
Oh, really?
It dead stopped. And he's sitting there as the music is playing, da 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 da. But it's on a loop so that it stops at a certain point because they figure you've turned the corner and it just repeats itself. Da 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 da. And he was stuck there for 3 hours.
Wow.
And in this documentary, they said if the Chinese ever wanted to come up with the perfect torture, it would be It's a Small World.
That's hilarious.
So I always figure if you wanted a perfect torture, Chinese wanted a perfect torture, just figure out how the DMV does what they do. You know, I mean, it's torture. It's just torture. But
Billy J, I think he was the first comedian I ever met was Billy J.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still, I guess, in Canada, right?
He's in Canada, yeah. He was hilarious.
Yeah, and he did movies and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden he kind of just went off the grid.
Yeah, he had a movie that Dustin was it?
Yeah,
Dustin
it was
Billy Bathgate.
Billy Bathgate, right? Yeah, it had a pretty good little role in it, and then that was it.
That was it.
You know, I mean, I go back and I look at Steve Kravitz's movie credits, and actually they're pretty extensive.
Kravitz did a lot of stuff. Yeah, I did. Was Sudden Impact with Eastwood.
Well, that was his big deal. He was in Howard. Yeah. He was in Howard the Duck. But I looked at it, and there's a whole list. I mean, stuff that he did, and you go, wow. I didn't. You know, I told him I didn't realize his movie credits were that extensive. You know who here's a name that I saw, and I'm trying to remember him. Okay, I'm watching the show Hot in Cleveland. I love Hot in Cleveland all of a sudden, and it's pretty good actually. If you've never watched it. It's now off the air now, but it's on various streaming services and so on. And there's the guy on the show. She's supposedly making a movie with Woody Allen, and a guy comes in and she fucks the guy thinking he's Woody Allen. And it's not really Woody Allen, it turns out. It's an assistant to Woody Allen, but he's worked with him for so long he now sounds like him. Right? And at the end of the show, I look for the credit on it because I want to see who did such a perfect impression of, and it said Ed Krasnick.
Oh, he did a great Woody Allen, yeah.
Do you remember Ed Krasnick?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I remember the name, and I'm sure he was on my show.
He was.
But
He did stand up. He started doing more one-man shows, but he was around here for quite a while, then moved to L.A.
Yeah, because I remember the name Ed Krasnick, but I couldn't picture Ed Krasnick.
I can see that.
He was one of those, there were people in my show who would drift in and out of the show. Okay? And at one point they were on a lot, and then all of a sudden they disappeared, and I guess they went to Hollywood, and they did one thing or another, and then eventually I'll see their name on a big Hollywood credit, like I'm trying to remember who now, went down and did Malcolm in the Middle, and is now pretty much the mainstay of producers and writers of TV shows in Hollywood.
That would be Alex Reed.
Alex Reed. See, you remember the name? I don't that easily. Mm-hmm. And but Alex Reed's been a big success as a writer-producer
and
director.
Comics got into writing, yeah,
and he got into directing too.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, he directs some of those episodes of those shows, and I think it's amazing that some of those people who kind of just went off the grid, they went off the grid into something better, And so, I mean, you don't sit around going, whatever happened to Alex Reed? Well, if you ever watch television for any amount of time, his name will pop up on the credits. Are you an inveterate credit watcher?
I always, anytime I go to a movie, I always watch the credits for some reason. Yeah.
Well, what I said was years ago, people say, why do you sit through the credits? Because I'm the last guy in the theater. Okay?
Yeah, me too.
There's maybe one other guy somewhere else, and it finally comes up the last credit. And I said the reason I watch the credits is if I really like the movie, it's my form of applause. I'm saying that, okay, I've watched this movie, I've enjoyed it, I think it's my responsibility to know who made it.
Yeah, so you put it together, yeah.
Yeah, not the stars on the screen. They're like the final product. There's this whole line of people that lead to that point, and quite frankly, I always watch the credits. Marjorie drives me nuts because she likes to turn off the credits on TV shows, and I'm going, I'd like to watch them, So, and you can't watch. It's hard to watch credits today because if you're watching like a streaming show or a binging show, which I don't think you know about. Have you ever binged a show?
No.
No. I didn't think so because you got to have cable that has
right. Yeah.
The smart TV. Do you have a smart TV?
It's got an antenna.
You don't have cable, do you?
No.
Oh God. He doesn't have a smart TV. If he had a smart TV, he wouldn't have any Wi-Fi to hook it up to.
Right.
Larry, what is with you? Have you completely opted out of the human race?
Pretty much. I don't think there's anything I want to see on TV anymore. Although the Hot L thing sounds actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. And they love old TV stars. So Betty White's on the show as a regular. She's on there. But one episode, Ed Asner was on it, playing with Betty White. It's kind of a reunion, you know.
See it, man.
Yeah, and there's some line about. He says, "I don't exactly see you sitting at home being a happy homemaker," which was the title of the character she played on Mary Tyler Moore.
Right.
She was the happy homemaker. Stuff like that. And Gloria Engel, who was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, was a regular on that show. These are all over now. They finished about 2016, something like that. But I just discovered it, and it's wonderful, just wonderful. So if you ever get a chance, or you ever get hooked up to the rest of the world,
I'm a Luddite.
Well, every now and then I go to Larry. Hey, Netflix got a great show, but if you don't have Netflix, there's no way you can have Netflix.
No.
They say, well, he could get Netflix for his iPad. Good luck. They still haven't put high-speed internet into your apartment house.
I'm going to get that soon. I have to get that. That's killing me.
Wait a minute. Do they have it in your apartment house?
They have to, because there's a bunch of techies running around here. But
well, then why don't you get it?
I will.
Wait a minute. I will. If you got it, then what kind of computer do you have?
It's got Windows 10. I know the guy upgraded it when it blew up a couple of years ago. So.
Okay, it's got Windows 10. I'm doing this discussion with you on a Windows 10 machine.
Okay.
So you got Windows 10. So if we put in the high-speed internet, all the things will come up faster. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, do you have a camera in your computer?
No.
Well, you could get a camera really cheap. And then you put that in there, and then we can do Zoom, and people can see you.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
Oh, jeez. Wait a minute. How can you not want people to see you? You go on a stage.
I know, and I feel bad about that.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was maybe Mike Bloomfield or somebody like that. And I heard the story from Bill Graham years ago that I think it was Bloomfield. I believe. Please don't hold me to it, folks, but let's just use it for the sake of the story. And he was playing at the Fillmore. And just before the show, just before he's ready to go on stage, Bill says, by the way, I got to tell you, your mother's in the audience. And he kind of panics for a moment, and he looks at Bill and says, whatever you do, don't tell her I'm here. And then he went on stage. I mean. So anyway, something that I want to talk to you about, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever. But I do these things with you. Obviously, we pre-record them, folks. And I sit here talking to you on really your phone, essentially. I'm using Skype to contact you, but we talk on the phone. And that's very nice. But before I come in here to talk to you, I put on a pair of pants. And I wonder, why do I put on a pair of pants? Somehow I feel that if I didn't have my pants on, there'd be something wrong with this conversation.
Right.
And it's all audio. He can't see me. I can't see him. But I sit here with pants on. I put pants on to talk to people. I never have to have pants on. I could be naked below my waist.
It makes you feel professional, maybe.
Well, I mean, kind of pajamas is what it is. It's kind of like something I wear around the house I would never wear out in the street. But I wondered about that. Why do I do that? I don't have to. You don't know that I'm not totally naked here talking to you. I don't know that you're not. Oh God, that thought is starting to burn itself in my brain. I don't know that you're not totally naked. Don't
most anchormen just wear jeans because you just see them from the?
Well, I remember when I was doing TV, I used to get dressed up. I used to put really nice pants on, nice jacket, shirt without a tie, whatever. And then I suddenly realized nobody ever looks at you on TV below the waist, even if they're shooting you below the waist. So right. I could wear jeans and nobody would care. Absolutely nobody would care. And it's true, if you look at some news reports and things like that people are doing out in the street, they've got a tie on, they've got a jacket, and they're wearing jeans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody ever pays attention what's below your jacket. So you're right. A lot of anchormen do wear jeans, especially if they don't have to stand up. I think the weatherman has to wear a nice suit,
right? Yeah.
You know. But I just, so I just wonder why I do that for you. I guess it's common courtesy.
Common courtesy.
I don't want you to talk to me naked. I don't understand it. So what's new in your part of the world?
I got to see our old friend Dave Attell Saturday night.
Oh, God, yeah. How's he doing?
He packed out Cobb's, had a great crowd there. That was fun.
Yeah.
Although I did feel if I get COVID, it's going to be from Saturday night because it was just packed with people.
Did they have masks on?
They did, but I don't know if that's going to help when it's jammed in like that.
Well,
that was it felt like old times.
If you wear a mask, and if they're wearing a mask, it's still possible, but it minimizes your chances. Plus, you've been vaccinated, right?
Yeah, I got a one and done. So.
The one and done?
Yeah, I didn't get the 2 shots. So.
Oh, you got the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, I could get a booster as soon as possible on that one, just to be safe.
Well, it seems like the virus is finally fading away.
Yeah, but I think you still want to get it. The reason it's fading away is people are getting vaccinated, and also because this strain is not as strong or is not as lethal as the other strain, and so it doesn't permeate as the other one did. So but I would be, if I were you, I would actually go back and get a booster, but get like the Moderna. You can mix and match like that. But even Johnson & Johnson says they think you should go in and get another Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, they said it was like a one-shot deal, but really it was a 2-shot deal like any of the others, And it would just keep you safer. You're over 65, right?
Yep.
So the lethality of this disease is greater for old people. The majority of the people who are dying are old people, fat people, and especially people who weren't vaccinated. So, and we still have a good amount of deaths. I think we've almost gone over 800,000, or maybe 900,000. I don't know what's.
I think it was 900. Yeah.
Yeah, 900,000. So I will hit 1 million before it's all over.
Well, that's a good start.
It's a good start. More parking places for you and me. If only I drove. I don't drive. I haven't driven in 4 or 5 years.
You haven't driven? Wow.
Haven't driven. I don't, and I get to have this fear. I don't know how to drive anymore. I suppose if I got behind the wheel of a car, say I went out to Marin, where it's a lot of space and stuff, and I got in a car, I could drive it and get back into the swim of things. Because I used to drive like it was my second set of feet, and but I just wonder whether I can get behind the wheel of a car now.
Well, that would be, I would think, horrible to drive in Manhattan.
Well, that's one thing. I wouldn't want to try it in Manhattan, and I wouldn't want to try it on the highway initially. I would just like to try getting in a car. I may go out to my friend Checky's and use his car, just drive around the neighborhood. And just see how I do. I'm sure I'll be fine, but because
you're not going to forget to drive.
Well, I'm not going to forget to drive, but I worry about I'm a little loopier because of the medicine I take, and get a little tired easily, and I'm just wondering if I just won't get behind the wheel of a car and fall asleep.
Well, how much would you don't have a garage in your building?
No. And there's no reason for me to have a car. I mean, think of the reasons I should have a car.
It would cost a fortune for one.
It would cost a fortune for the car. I'd have the car payments. Then I'd have to pay for a parking lot, which is like maybe $400 or $500 a month. And then I have to pay for the insurance. Before I'm through, I'm paying $2,000 a month to have a goddamn car.
Jesus.
So I mean, it's like you have a car that's probably paid off, right?
Yeah.
Old car.
Old car.
And how much is your insurance?
It's like I think $800 a year.
$800 a year. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, and you just park in your neighborhood, right?
I've got a garage.
You got a garage. How much does that cost you a month?
That's because I've been here for a while. $175. Otherwise, it would be $300 or $400.
Yeah. But anyway, hey, listen, we've run out of time here.
We're behind.
We've done our duty, and we've done it well. And I always enjoy talking with Larry Bubbles Brown. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Alex. Don't lose your wallet.
See you next week.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And Larry, thank you so much, Larry. Lawrence. We like to call him Lawrence. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll call him Lawrence. And we I guess, are ready to go to our citizen panel here. If you want to be part of that, by the way, just go to gabnet.net. If you go to gabnet.net and you click on the thing that says, click here for Zoom, it'll immediately take you to our program, and you can be a part of it if you so desire, and we would love to have you here. The more the merrier. If there are new people, we love to have them on because it makes life better all the way around. So anyway, let's go to our citizen panel. Let me admit them here so far. And look at they're popping in here. There's what do you Brian?
Completely naked.
Yeah.
Completely naked.
Okay, completely naked.
That's what you said, right? Earlier said.
Well, I just said
completely naked.
No, that every time I go to interview somebody like Bubbles, I put on these pajama pants. These not pajama pants, but lounging pants, and I put on a shirt. You know, I get dressed up, even though I'm doing audio only with him. He can't see me, but somehow I feel compelled to get dressed. In your case, I don't believe you're totally naked.
I think I need to get my test kit. Hold on.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Anyway, hello to Josh Wheeler. How you doing, Josh?
Well, I'm good. How are you doing?
And to Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Nice seeing you too. And here we go. We're off to the races. Now, don't you feel?
Now I'm not completely naked.
Yeah.
Now I'm just half naked.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Have it your way.
DMV's gotten much better. You're talking about DMV?
Yeah.
Because of the whole online stuff that they've had to do because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
After COVID, they have now. There's a lot of things you can do online now that you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
So really, yeah, at least the ones over here, it's really, really easy in and out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, they took advantage of technology, because that same one was, they had chairs everywhere for people, and now it's really easy in and out, because it's just like new vehicle registration is pretty much, like when you're changing from person to person, when it's going same to same, now everything's online. So after COVID, they did pretty good.
Well, since I got my latest license, okay, I think it was before COVID, but they at the DMV here, you make an appointment to, for a certain time and a date, and you go down there, and it's not exactly a perfect storm on that deal, but it really worked better, so I was happy with it.
Did they give? So when did you last go in the driving test?
Oh,
behind the wheel?
God, I haven't taken a driving test since I was a teenager. Why?
You talk about driving, you just got your other license. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
My grandfather was 86 when I flew down to Vegas to pick him up and took care of him for the last few years of his life. and he had a nice Cadillac, and so we're in the right hand, left turn lane, but there's two lanes turning.
Yeah.
And when we got in his car, and he's going to drive back here to my house, and man, he crossed both lanes back and forth. Then we pulled in to get gas. I said, "That's the last time you're ever driving. I will escort you everywhere now."
Yeah. But when was the last time he had to take a driving test?
Oh yeah, I don't think he'd take one for a long time.
When was the last time you took a driving test?
Oh yeah, I just 16, I guess. When I got first license.
Yeah, that's the last time for me. I was afraid they were going to maybe ask me to because I didn't know what the laws were here in New York, but apparently it's just fine, I imagine maybe, my next renewal will be when I'm 89 years old. So I think they might want to give me a driver's test. Jeff?
Yeah?
By the way, all we see is the top of your head.
And your air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, do you drive anymore?
Yes, but not as much as I used to.
Okay. But when was the last time you had to take a driver's test?
Probably when I was 16.
See?
That's what I think.
And really nobody says to him, "Hey, you had a stroke. Maybe we better see if you can still drive."
Jeff, after the stroke, though, they take your license away from you, right? I think he's talking to Pam.
Yeah, I wasn't able to drive for a year. And then
But they took your license away, right?
Test.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But it was at a clinical place. Like a rehab.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, my friend Shecky, he got a little woozy and pulled over to the side of the road. He had some people with him, and he almost passed out, but didn't completely. And so they took him to a hospital because they wanted to make sure there was nothing really wrong with him. And they couldn't find anything really wrong with him, but they took his license away.
Oh.
They took his license away, and it took him a good year to get it back.
Wow.
That's not to say he didn't still drive and come and pick me up at the bus stop and things like that, but they suddenly will pull your driver's license for something like that. How about you, Kevin? When was the last time you took a driver's test? Not the written, the actual driver's test.
Oh, the driving part?
Yeah.
Well, because I had a commercial driver's license, they don't usually make you do that. But I have to take the written test every 2 years and hazardous materials every couple years.
Oh, okay. So you why is it so often for you? I mean, with being a truck driver, do they make you take the written test more often?
You got to take the written test every 5 years and the hazardous materials every 2 years.
Okay. Ask me a
Have the hazardous materials endorsement.
Just for grins, ask me a hazardous material question.
Shit, it's been 5 years.
If you haul flammable material in a tanker and you have a tanker endorsement, once the tanker is empty, can you take your placards off even though you're hauling the tanker empty?
I would say no.
No.
Because he nodded his head.
Not until the tanker has gone through washout.
Full purge.
Well,
I deal with gases, so it has to be fully purged.
I see. How do you know that, Josh? Because where you work, that's one of the things that happens?
Because I also am trained to operate a commercial vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I move trailers on a incredibly consistent basis. And yes, we also ship and receive a great deal.
Yeah,
so,
if you're shipping, you got to be trained in most of that stuff too.
All the laws.
Wow.
We're trying to run two different kind of assays right now at the new building in Lodi, and there's another assay, and there's one liquid that we needed, and we just about to ship it over, and then found out that the MDMS, right, what the paperwork is, the paperwork, but yeah, that's not MDMS, but
MSDS.
They shortened it. They just call it an SDS now.
SDS, yeah. So, and it's
Safety data
light.
sheet.
So,
In my day, that was the Students for a Democratic Society.
So they had the. So all of a sudden, we're just about to bring it, and they said, no, it can't go because it needs. So we have to call this certain trucking agency that does that for us.
Mhm.
So yeah, so very, very, very.
Yeah, I guess that's some of that stuff's the most stupid and the most complicated shit you've ever seen.
Oh, try and run a warehouse full of toxic gases.
Oh, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't run a warehouse full of toxic gases, but I do sleep next to Marjorie every night.
Boom.
Well, at least you don't have to get a permit.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We ship, flam-3, corrosive, the fucking poisonous, the dead fish symbol. I mean, we fucking got all.
I have no idea. Wait a minute.
We ship has waste out too, so I mean,
Waste is the worst.
I have no idea what you're talking.
Yeah, that shit's so fucking.
Waste is worse than virgin.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's a pain.
Yeah,
I mean, once you get trained to do it, and it same shit all the time. It doesn't matter.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but
if you don't do it right, and you get caught,
you're fucked.
Actually,
the company abandons you.
I'm serious. Like, so I probably can't really give any details, but we accidentally put a very small, like 1 gallon can of something, and accidentally shipped it air freight, and it wasn't allowed to go air freight, and I thought I was going to have to get a fucking lawyer. I mean, I fucking swear to you. It was a fucking gallon. And I thought I was going to go to fucking prison. And I didn't even do it. You know what I mean? Someone who works for me did it. I was like, wasn't even fucking here that day,
Yep.
Jesus.
Fired on your day off.
It's like,
You used to run into that crap all the time.
Jeff and I have never had these kind of problems, right, Jeff?
Not at all.
Not at all.
However, if you'd like to buy a gun, buy one, get one free today.
Exactly.
Fuck, man. I mean, you accidentally ship like a little pint can of something that you're not allowed to on FedEx Air instead of FedEx Ground. And it's like the government literally called the next day, and we're still answering their fucking questions. But I could have stopped at, Vance's Sporting Goods on my way home and bought enough weapons to fucking start my own goddamn militia. No one would say anything about
That's
that.
fine.
Yep.
I mean,
Remember
conversation, I guess, but it's like, geez. I mean,
I don't know if you know, but remember when it came out to when they were shipping lithium batteries? Were you around for that?
You can't do that shit anymore, right?
We had to go through a month of training to ship a fucking battery.
You have to take classes to ship stuff.
And you can't ship the battery when it's in. You can ship one battery when it's in a device, but you can't ship the other 3 batteries. You have to ship them separately, and then you have to fill out the paperwork separately. It has to go in this device. It has to have this. It has to have that.
And even when you ship it in a device, it's got to have all those fucking stickers and all that shit all over it.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question, though. Lithium-ion batteries, we all know, have a tendency to explode. Right?
Right.
That's why.
Can you take them on a plane in a device?
Yep.
Yeah. You just can't take a pack of them of just batteries. And you certainly can't ship it.
Well, I would think that the possibility of one of those batteries blowing up is while it's in operation.
Absolutely.
Rather than just sitting in
Makes no fucking sense.
Fucking government. I mean,
You can't tell somebody not to bring their fucking cell phone on the phone, but you can't pack them in that fucking cargo bay. No, 50 at a time.
Yeah. Is the average like say Duracell a lithium ion? No.
What?
I buy a whole bunch of Duracells at Costco. Are those lithium ion? I don't think so. Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Like these?
Yeah.
These are not lithium ions.
Okay.
These are just lithium, I think.
Oh. Is that more dangerous?
No, these are alkalines.
Oh, alkalines. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the lithiums are a little more expensive.
Yeah.
Better not ship a pressurized aerosol can on a fucking.
Oh, remember when oxygen went down?
Hard time, motherfucker. Better Call Saul's the only thing I can fucking tell you. Cause
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that a pressurized bottle fell over and busted, and that is what caused one of the value jet crashes that time in the Everglades. And after that,
that was the oxygen. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Right.
I remember that value jet.
It was leaking.
Crash.
Yeah.
That was years.
I think
and
it
years
fell
and
over
years
and got
ago.
the nozzle. It wasn't secured or something, and the nozzle
Got knocked. Yeah.
It took off like a rocket, which they will, and like caused a depressurization or some shit like that.
Yep.
And ever since then, you can't ship that stuff air freight at all.
It's pure oxygen. If you spark or fart, it'll ignite.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what it did.
There's all kinds of laws.
That changed also the laws for placarding on the road with oxygen too.
Yeah. There's all kinds of laws for that stuff. I mean, it's crazy, and you can't drive with placards on after you've unloaded the material that you were placarded for.
You can get busted for having.
So if you're the guy hauling the stuff and you got all different stuff and you stop and you make a delivery, and your Flam 3 placarded stuff got unloaded, you pull out of the dock and you stop and get out of your truck and take those placards off. Or if they pull you over and you're placarded but you don't have stuff that requires it, you get fined for that. Because they say if you get in an accident, they're going to show up and look for what you're placarded for or whatever, and then if you're not, then...
Which is the worst thing, because if you got your truck parked overnight somewhere, and then you come back in the morning and some kid's gone out there and flipped all the placards over to explosive...
Right. So you're supposed to cover that in your morning DOT walk-around, your pre-trip.
Yep.
So what do you think?
I've had it happen to
as
me.
long as we're on the subject of trucks... The trucker thing in Canada continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're just shooting themselves in the foot up there.
Really? In what way?
Well, they're not making any money sitting there doing nothing, and then they're pissing off everybody else that can't make any money.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're also
understand them making a point. Trudeau isn't helping it either. Trudeau ought to just go down there and say, "What do you want?"
Or listen to them. Just pretend.
Just listen to them. Let them vent, and then say, "Okay, sounds good. See you later."
If you don't,
they'll probably all fire up and leave.
If you don't mean it, at least fake it. I mean, do something to seem like you care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but he stands up there and calls them all terrorists.
Well, that's going a bit far. You know. I mean, they are, I mean, it is a terrible situation. It's interesting. I was reading about, you're familiar with the situation with Jeff Zucker over at CNN and how he, look who's there. Look who's there. Somebody poked her head in. Oh, there she disappeared. Oh, wait a minute. Now she's poking her head in again. Ah, you see? There she is again. It's kind of like playing Where's Waldo. What's all that, Adrian?
She's trying to find the Gabnet channel.
They're all her happy Valentine's Day cards for her friends at school.
Oh, really? How nice.
She's going to get writer's cramp.
Oh.
I start tonight.
Yeah. Hello, Patrick. We haven't seen Patrick in a while. Everybody say hi, Patrick.
Patrick, what's up?
And hi to Alan. He just joined us. No, what I was saying is that this thing with CNN and Jeff Zucker, it seems as though all the people who work there, the on-the-air people, have been protesting that Jeff Zucker was forced out of CNN. And one of the lower echelon groups of people have been saying to the press, you know something? These anchor people are the biggest group of spoiled children in the business. They say they don't understand. This is the business. That's why Zucker is out. This is the business we work in. You don't suddenly have a hissy fit and cry and stomp your feet because they fired your boss, And but the word out there was about what a bunch of babies the anchor people were at CNN, because they're all protesting.
They're kind of the ones that helped create this cancellation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know that it was the people as much as it was, the media, right? I mean, constantly harping on, so-and-so has been in his job for 15 years, but here's a video of him from 18 years ago where he said X, Y, or Z. Why hasn't he been fired yet?
Well, it wasn't even that bad. I mean, this was a case where he had a woman who he worked with. It was actually she worked right under him. I don't want, no puns intended here. And they were failed to report it to the company that they were having a relationship, which, quite frankly, I think is none of the business of the company. If there's something hinky going on, then maybe there's a problem. But if it's a relationship you're having, she lived on the floor below him. It was a real. They had fallen in love after 20 years of working with each other. They suddenly realized they had something deeper going, and they both found themselves without husbands and wives, and they decided to do something about it. And because they didn't report it, that's the reason he was forced out of CNN. Come on.
But did one of them report to the other? Was one the boss?
He was the boss. She reported to him. But this is a relationship they've had for 2 years. Everybody in the company knew about it. It wasn't like it was a big secret,
They wanted him out.
And by the way, he quit. He finally quit because he was going to quit this year anyway. But he finally quit. Guess who still has a job?
She does.
His girlfriend, who may wind up being his future wife or whatever. But I mean, it's just. But what these people were saying was, these people who are complaining are real babies. They're just spoiled brats. And then they also added they have no concept of what goes on in the real world.
Yeah, the company with HR can get in big trouble because if there's any kind of favoritism for anybody. But then if you say, oh well, that person is sleeping with that person, no matter how long they were together or friends or whatever, that's when either they wanted him out or other people said, oh look, there's favoritism there because this is going on.
They had worked with each other for 20 years and never had a relationship till just now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like she was sleeping with him to keep her job. She had a job,
Yeah, but it sounds like somebody wanted him out.
Oh yeah, well I think the new owners which are coming in, they just okayed it. As a matter of fact, the Discovery Channel, is going to be
CNN.
Yeah, it's going to be CNN Discovery or something like that. I don't know, but. What?
I get the point about the anchors or whatever, but I don't know. I guess I would be interested to hear what other people think, but I don't know who drove this cancellation stuff. To me, I don't really know that it was the population at large. Was it the people? Was it us, or was it the media who built this firestorm of every time we find out someone did something a long time ago? They need to be out.
Well,
I watched a movie the other night that had Kevin Spacey in it. I don't know if I should punch my fist into the wall till they bleed now to punish myself.
I'll tell you, I'll bet
a bad person.
Go wash your hands.
I bet companies that have rights to movies that Kevin Spacey is in, and mind you, he was in literally hundreds of movies. I bet they don't show them as often.
Right.
Which I think is, if the guy, say, had an Academy Award-winning performance 15 years ago, is that performance any less valid because he suddenly, pinched somebody in the butt? I think this has gone too far.
I guess that's what I'm saying is, that if we're going to ask that question though, but who is it that really cares about that stuff? Because I think it's the media. Because when I talk to you all here, everyone seems to say, "Yeah, I don't know, I don't care."
Well,
I guess when I talk to people that at my work or whatever, they're like, "Yeah, whatever, I don't care."
Well,
so who is it that cares about this shit?
Well,
it seems like the media.
Whoops,
There's a story for them, right?
Excuse me, folks, if you had a little problem there. Let me see here. I gotta bring in Tony. The point is that, and I think it's important to make a distinction that sometimes people did things. For instance, I did things on my radio show in San Francisco. How many years ago was that? 25, what have you? I can't remember how many.
30, yeah.
Yeah. I can't even count the years now. But we did stuff which I think if you wanted to go back, you could pick something out that we did, that was, that was sexist, that made somebody feel uncomfortable. And you go, wait a minute, it was a whole different set of rules back then. I was operating by those rules. Some of them, right, by the way, I still was very much of a gentleman, and I wouldn't abide by because I felt they were wrong then, just like some people feel they're wrong now. But I don't know what I did or didn't do. I don't know how many women I went out with who couldn't turn around and claim, oh, he came on to me. He made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know. But I'd like to think that I was enough of a decent person that I wouldn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But, this whole thing about going back years and years and retroactively making somebody guilty, that's exactly what went on in the McCarthy era. When they went back 20 years and said, are you ever been a member of the Communist Party? And somebody went to a Communist Party meeting in 1935. And since then, as a Republican or whatever. Ronald Reagan was a dyed-in-the-wool communist, for crying out loud. And we forgave him. Or I didn't forgive him. I didn't forgive him for his movie career.
He turned around and informed to the FBI.
Yeah, he turned around and informed to the FBI. Besides being a communist, he was a rat on top of it. So, but how far back do you go? I remember that happening during the McCarthy era, and I found it appalling. People, at a certain time, by the way, in this country, right during the Depression and just shortly after the Depression, there was a popularity in people saying, oh, maybe we wouldn't do bad under communism because that's capitalism thing. Look what it did to us. And some people flirted with it, and whatever, and then they gave up on it. But now it's 20 years later, and somebody's sitting before a committee saying, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? And you go, well, way back when it was okay to be a member of the Communist Party, but certainly not now, So what's the difference between that and the same thing we're doing today about, hey, you wrote a tweet 20 years ago, well, they didn't have tweets back then, but, you wrote something back then, or you said something on the radio back then, and now you're being asked to atone for it. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So. Hello, Tony. How you doing tonight, pal?
Pretty good. I was going to ask you, Alex, you mentioned the McCarthy hearings, which I find interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw, I was going to ask you this. I think I asked Shecky this. Mm-hmm. I watched the movie with my brother, The Ricardos. I didn't realize that was based on they were going after McCarthy with that she signed something when she made they filled out like a voting card in like 10 years before.
She registered or something as a communist 15 years earlier.
They were going after her, yeah.
And she did it for some stupid reason, nothing that had to
her grandfather or uncle was like interested in it, like you were saying, or something like that.
Whatever. But it's just I saw what happened back in the McCarthy era, and I don't see a real difference between then and this. Some people say, well, that was about communism. Well, no, it was witch hunting, and that's what this is. I think if somebody goes, hey, I said that 15 years ago, but I don't believe that today, or I wouldn't write it today in this atmosphere, then they should be forgiven for it. Right, Patrick?
That is 100% correct.
Yes. I think that's something we can agree on, right?
Right.
Politically. How you doing, Patrick?
As far as what?
How you doing?
Okay, I'm alive. I mean, I'm fine. And nothing. I mean, the only thing I have to bitch about is the weather. But
Yeah.
it's been about 40 degrees, so it's been like fucking summer. So
Did you watch the last episode of Boba Fett?
yes.
And you begin to wonder, where was Boba Fett? You know, I mean, it turned into the Mandalorian.
Well, yeah, so did the other one, but they were better than any of the sequels. So
Yeah, right, exactly.
I was happy
Exactly.
with that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it ended kind of fun. We got Gorgu back again. You know, he saved the day. I like the way he made that big monster go to sleep, and then he fell asleep too. You know.
Well, yeah, I would have too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
it's good. Enjoying it.
Yeah, but it's a good show. It's a good show. But because you're a big Star Wars fan, right? He nodded, folks. For those listening just to the audio only, he nodded. You can't nod on Jack's show. On Jack's show, you've got to actually speak up.
Say something or else.
Oh, anyway. Is anybody watching the Olympics? I guess not.
A little bit.
Just the Shaun White, that's all.
Shaun White, yeah. Why is it that we have the big deal this year is all these people crying? Do you notice that? You had that woman crying, and then you had Shaun White broke into tears.
Oh, yeah.
You know. But I think, was that tears of like relief, do you think? I mean, all those years of being competitive and having the pressure of competition, and now he doesn't have it anymore. You know? You can just...
He realized he was old.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah.
How do
He
you
said
think
his
I
legs
feel?
He said his legs were killing him.
Yeah.
You could hear him saying that, going, my legs just gave out. They just couldn't take it no more. And I said, it sucks getting old, doesn't it, buddy?
Yeah, it's only 35 feeling that way. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
know.
but look at what he's done to his legs all those years.
Yeah, I know. Just think what you feel like when he's just 60.
Yeah, right. Oh, here we go. Here comes Ray Renati. Yes, Jack.
Hey, I heard a thing about getting old yesterday that struck me. Some folks in Britain did a survey about when do people think someone is old. And I was shocked to learn that at least in Britain, it's not until you're 76. So I've got about
but they were asking 70-year-olds.
Yeah. I asked Adrian last week and she said 90.
Really? Did you ask Adrian that and she said 90?
She said 90. I said, what do you think is old to 90?
90.
I said, okay, well, I'm young then.
well, you know something? When next time you see her, give her a big sloppy kiss for me. You know, I mean,
and for me too.
Yeah.
And for my cat.
When you were a kid, what did you think old was? When you were like, say, 10, what did you think old was?
I thought like 30 and 40. If 30 years old was old, and then you get a little bit older, and then it's 40, then you get a little bit older, and it's 50s. Just keep going like that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our slogan was never trust anybody over 30, so that was 30.
Yeah. Well, no, that was never trust anybody over 30, but we didn't say that was necessarily old. You just couldn't trust them any longer.
That's when you lost it after that.
I kept saying don't trust anybody over 30, and then I suddenly realized I was over 30 when I said it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yeah, but they always say they die so young too, you know. And there's some people, 50s, they say, oh, they're still so young. You know, Bob Saget is still so young. But maybe it's just their attitude or how they seem, not their age.
Well, my mother, at 91, had her best friend die. They were approximately the same age, at 92. And I swear to you, she said to me, "How could she die? She was so young." So it's all relative.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
You
'cause
know.
you can't.
It's all relative.
My dad died when he was 43.
Wow.
And I didn't realize how young he was until I was 53, because he died 2 days after my 13th birthday.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, gee, you know, when I was 43, I was making one of my career comebacks.
Yeah.
You know, so he was.
Yeah, well, you want to hear the pathetic thing? This is
What?
my career comeback.
Jack, same here. My mom died when she was 37 and I was 13. I just turned 13. And yeah, and you don't realize it. I realized, wow, you know, people kept saying, "Oh, she was so young, so young." And then, man, when you turn that age, it's weird because the same thing. Yeah, I've had the most fun in my life in my 40s and 50s. You know?
Well, my father died at 59. So when I hit 59, I was getting scared, you know, because my mother died at 100 and a half, you know.
Wow.
So, what did your mother die of, Brian?
She had asthma, and she sort of had some kind of flu or something. And in the middle of the night, she when she was lying back, she started having an asthma attack, and she was in bed alone. It was Father's Day, so my stepfather was out all night with his dad, and so the phlegm clogged up her throat. She suffocated.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
And how about your father,
Jack?
Jack?
Cancer.
Cancer at 40.
At 43, he was diagnosed at about 36, 37.
What kind of cancer?
Something that today would have been eminently treatable. Colon cancer.
Colon cancer. Yeah, yeah. I got to tell you something. I was watching an episode, as I have been lately, of Hot in Cleveland, and on the show, Valerie Bertinelli finds out she has a pituitary tumor, and she said they can take care of it with radiation, and then if they can't take care of it with the radiation, they just go up through your nose and pull it out, you know, get rid of it. And I'm thinking to myself, my father died of a pituitary tumor because they couldn't operate on it in those days. They didn't know how to do it because it's here, and then if you go to the center of your head, that's where it is. Very hard place to get to. If they could go in there, but they'd hack your brain to pieces, and you know, if you were lucky, you just lost all memory of your prom, you know. But otherwise, you'd lose your memory of a lot of things. And now, today, it's a simple procedure to take care of a pituitary tumor. And I just think about it. My father just lived, if he just lived 10 years longer and had that happen, he probably would have lived another 20 years. And because I went out with a woman who I said, so she said, "Oh, I had a big operation a couple of years ago." I said, "What?" She said, "I had a pituitary tumor." I said, "My God, and you're alive?" And she says, "Oh, yeah. They just go in now and boom, boom, boom." And I went, geez. Yeah, and I told her about my father, that in his day, and it wasn't that many years earlier, they couldn't do it. So there are a lot of things we can do today that, you know, we couldn't do then. And as you say, a colon cancer, you know.
Biggest shock of my life. I was reading about somebody that was in the business that you and I have been in, and somebody whose name I'll mention, George Goebbels. Remember George Goebbels on TV?
Goebbels.
Yeah, Goebbels. Yeah. He died from the same surgery that I had 11 years ago. He was having an early heart bypass.
But they weren't as good at it back then, right?
No, but in 6 weeks, I was out doing whatever I had done and encouraged to do even more to get back on my feet fully.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a zipper?
Oh, have I got a zipper?
I mean, did you get the zipper? Remember the zipper club? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
See,
it was it Letterman who had 5 bypasses? 5? I mean, I didn't. I thought there were only 4 that
No,
you
there
could
are
bypass.
5, and I think I met somebody when I was going to rehab who had all total had 6 because they had to go back and do 2 of the ones that he had done initially.
Wow. Wow. And how have you felt since then?
Actually, I have felt pretty good. The only problem I have, the only ongoing problem I have, is you know how the procedure's done. They take you into the operating room. They treat you like the Christmas turkey and crack you open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
You know, and one of the things they do is they break your breastbone.
Yep.
That bad. I'll tell you something that was worse.
No, don't tell me worse. Come on, we want to keep listeners here.
Well, anyway, the only problem I have is that sometimes I have a little chest pain, not from the heart, not from any of the stuff they had to do, but from the bone.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, cold weather, I get a little, but that's about it.
Yeah. Now, have you had any lasting effects from your situation, Patrick?
I can't say there's any. I mean, I don't know. I can't walk.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems to not good.
I mean,
When was yours, Jack?
that's not that big of an issue. So.
Well, that's what I like about you. You've never let it be a big issue. You got on with your life and you live it day to day on a very positive basis. I've often said to people when you're not listening that you're kind of my hero.
Either deal with it or eat a bullet. I guess I don't know. To me, if you want to live, you just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not easy for everybody. I mean, there are counselors if you need it. My motivation was I wanted to get back to work. So.
Mm-hmm. But also, having the condition that you have, okay, doesn't it take a little more? It takes a little more work than not having that condition. In other words, you've got to think ahead, don't you, every day about what you're going to do, when and how, and so on. And I got to do this now, and so on. Am I right?
I mean, you develop a routine,
a ritual
plan.
Yeah, a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've often wondered if I had my issues occur now versus 19 years ago. I wonder if I'd be paralyzed after the surgery, just because of medical advancements, things like that. But that's about all I give it is a couple of minutes thought. You go, well, I wonder, and then you move on.
Well, if you hadn't gone to a veterinarian,
Well, that's true. That's true. But he was an orthodox veterinarian.
Here's the thing that all these things that we're talking about, we're a lot of people are getting things today that, say 20 years from now, they can solve, but my question is, how many lives do we really want to save? I mean, do we really want people to live to be 125, 150?
Or even 80.
Or even 80. I mean, but what I'm saying is that, do we really want people living to be that old? And can we take it as a society? Because that becomes a burden to the society to take care of them and to make sure that, So I don't know.
Years ago, I read a book about an immortal, and the only thing that he said that was bad about being able to live forever was you saw all the people that you loved die.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, forget about people you love. I mean, in my case, I don't, most of my friends who I had did care about are dead. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Bennett. I appreciate that.
Well, I said yeah.
You said
well,
friends.
I said friends. No, but I mean, my really close friends, my best friends, are dead, and a couple of women that I had relationships with, dead. That one got to me. The first time that I had a woman who I slept with died. I not while she was in bed with me. I mean, she died. Although, remember my friend Bob Rubin?
Yeah, I think
he was making love to a woman, and she died while he was having sex with her. And
my uncle could top that. He died while making love with somebody.
Well, no, but think about this for a second. You're making love to a woman. She dies while you're making love to her. That's got to put you off, for quite a few years. And I asked him if it did, and he said, yeah, it did. He said, I just couldn't.
He must have felt like the Grim Reaper or something, no?
Yeah. I mean, what a horrible feeling that is,
Well, I knew an old guy who...
Of course, most women that I went to bed with wished they were dead, but,
Well, I knew this old guy who was around our age, whatever that is. And he started dating this younger woman, considerably younger, like 35 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
And fool that I was, I said to him, sex with somebody that young could lead to death. And he said, if she dies, she dies.
That's the oldest joke in the world.
It's the second oldest. Anyway, when I heard that my mom's oldest brother, who was my favorite uncle, had passed away while in a Motel 6 with a woman 30 years younger than him, and he was like 74, 75 years old, I thought they were kidding me, because my family tells these great tall tales about each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until a couple of years later, when I was sitting down with his oldest son, and I asked him, hey, did my uncle really die in bed with... He said, yes, it happened. And I said, did you know her? He said, know her. At one time, she had been the substitute teacher for one of my high school classes. And I said, damn, man, that's freaky. He said, it's freaky. You should have seen the look on everybody's face at the mortuary when they were, filling out the death certificates and all.
Was it death? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
This is a really positive discussion we're having here. How you doing, Ray? How you doing, Ray?
Hey, I'm all right. How are you?
Hey, is your pulse still working okay?
My pulse?
Oh, I'm just checking in on you.
I have a pulse.
Because tonight there's a lot of mortality going on here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to die. Now I'm just thinking about death, for crying out loud.
Well, I have this great fear of death, so
Me too. I'm terrified of it.
Really? We should get together and talk. We should have a support group.
We should.
How many here, just by show of hands, are afraid of death?
Oh, me. Definitely, yeah.
Wow.
It's even
now,
to just not exist.
I want Patrick's take on this. You're not afraid of death?
No, in fact, I don't know if I told this on the air ever. Probably have, but after 16 hours of surgery, they turned me back over onto my back, and I had all the electrodes attached to me, and everything went dead. And they realized something got fucked up. So they took me in for a CAT scan because they didn't want to just reopen me up without maybe seeing if there was a screw that was too tight somewhere or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I woke up in the CAT scan.
No, wow.
And I realized at that point something bad had happened, and I said a prayer, and I said, if this is it, then this is it. And I imagine that's pretty much the way it is. when you're dying. You don't really have a choice whether you're in the hospital or, And that I was on a CAT scan table with my arm tied above my head so that I don't know anybody else that had CAT scan, but you got to keep your arms above your head.
Right.
While they tied mine so that they could be above my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking, because I wasn't sure if I dreamed that or if it was real.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them, did you guys use red tie material to keep my hands above my head? And they said, yeah, how do you know that? And I said, well, I briefly woke up when you put me in the machine. So
yeah.
So I mean, and I didn't have any pain that I was aware of or anything like that. I'm sure it hurt like a motherfucker, but yeah, so that was the closest I ever came to death that I'm aware of, and I wasn't scared. I just thought, well, shit, I can't do anything here, so I got that at the end of it.
I was going to say,
I thought that was it.
Yeah, I've had a near-death experience. I've been married 4 times. So, Jeff, you've had a near-death experience. Obviously, you had a stroke years ago.
Oh yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, what was going through your mind? Were you so you have no fear of death now, right? After going through something like that?
Not really. And I had surgeries after that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not afraid of those things.
Yeah, but you're a survivor,
Yeah,
that's good. How about anybody else here
multiple times?
Multiple times. Anybody else here had a near-death experience? No. Wow. Okay.
At least not in one that I was aware of.
No. You had the heart operation, but did you have some kind of thing that happened that made you have to have that heart operation?
Well, nothing really major. I had passed a heart stress test 6 weeks before, and they told me I was good. But one night I had an allergy attack and just couldn't breathe right. Took myself to the emergency room, and they said, you're either having a heart attack or you're on the verge of having a heart attack. And I said, oh shit.
So they just rushed you in and did it?
No, they said, would you open wide, please? No, not your mouth, your wallet. And after they found out I had good insurance, they started running tests and things, and it took them a few days to decide what to do with me. They were going to initially do not a bypass, but one of them insert the thing in the vein.
Angioplasty. Yeah.
But after I'd been in the hospital for 2 days, they said, no, we've gone back and looked at some of the tests, and you're in worse shape than we initially thought you were. The person who had the biggest problem was Donna, my wife, because they came out of the surgery after they'd had me on the table for about 5 hours and said it's much worse than we thought it was.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you something. I just thought of a joke, so please, don't hold this against me. But where do you find out where to get angioplasty? On Angie's list? Okay, I just thought I'd try that one out. You can use that if you ever want to at a party, or if you plan on trying to lose friends. So that would be good too. So, yes,
I can
Tony.
add. I mean, I have no recollection of it, but my brother can attest to it, and my sister. When I was born 3 months early, I was in a incubator, and they gave me the last rush. My brother said, "Well, they didn't think I was going to make it."
Really?
So I have no recollection at all.
Well, you of course you don't.
No. But they said, they told my mother, it's like, he may not make it.
They gave you coffee, right?
What?
No, I mean, she fell and went to labor early, yeah.
Alan?
If I was Republican, I would go get my angioplasty or heart surgery from Rand Paul.
Yeah, that is true.
Now,
yeah.
hold it.
He's an eye doctor.
Hold it. We have a Republican here in Patrick who I respect, and so let's not make jokes about generalizing Republicans. Am I right?
Okay. Well,
Patrick?
No, this guy goes after Fauci like he knows more about virology than Fauci does. So
who?
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul? Yeah. Well,
Rand Paul.
what is Rand Paul? He's like an ophthalmologist or something.
Yeah,
isn't
he's an eye doctor.
Right,
Yeah.
an ophthalmologist.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Phil says he trusts him more than Fauci, and I'm like, okay.
That's crazy. Well, of course, Phil said that.
You know, we haven't heard from Fauci lately. Have you seen him lately?
Thank God.
Huh?
Thank God.
There you go.
Right, I mean,
There it is.
2 days ago.
Spoken like a true.
Really? You saw him somewhere 2 days ago?
He had a statement 2 days ago talking about the Omicron situation and where we stand with that. And
Oh, by the way, do you know now they're saying the latest booster is only good for about 4 months?
Oh, come on. Another shot we got to get. I'm not going to get the next shot.
They're thinking of...
This is number 4 now. Come on.
Well, listen, if they tell you got to get one once a week, I'm there.
Yeah.
It seems like it's sizing up.
Me too.
You know.
Big
I
deal,
did that
man.
for almost a year that I had to get a needle every day.
Really?
And my wife had to do it.
What was it for?
Well, yeah.
It was after the stroke.
Oh, okay.
In his heroin days.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
It helped him get a boner.
4 shots a day when I was trying to get my diabetes under control until they came out with this once a week thing I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Get used to it.
But anyway, I mean, I've always had this great fear of death, and as I get older, it's even worse, So I don't know, And then you were talking about people who die who you know. How about people that die that you don't know, like all the stars or the people that you grew up with in entertainment, who suddenly are dying left and right and sideways. I mean, people I know too. I mean, people like Bob Saget and people like several other people that I've known over the years who suddenly. What was there? Another one I thought of tonight that died recently. I mean, all of a sudden, all the people I've known or people who are stars or whatever that I watch in movies, they're all dying,
Yeah, Frank DeRosa Sr., one of my car idol guys, but he was 92, and every time I would see him the last couple of years, all he would talk about is all the dead people. He lived in Pittsburgh, California, and he grew up there and was like a historian there. And every time I'd see him, he'd talk about the next person that just died, and he's like, "There's nobody left." Yeah.
Who was this?
Frank DeRosa.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, I always said I really only had 3 really what I called really best friends, and I'm very funny about that. I mean, I consider all you guys friends, but it's on a different level than best friend, the kind of person you call every other day or that you have an ongoing relationship with, that they can depend on you, you can depend on them. You know what I'm talking about. And I had about 3 really good friends, and 2 of them are dead now. Shecky's still alive, and I'm keeping him on life support. I'm not letting him go, So, it's amazing. Oh, we lost Jack. Oh, because and I've got to play the theme any second now.
You got to get ready.
Huh? Yeah, he had to get ready to go to his show. Well, let's start the theme here. What I should do is go to him right now before he's ready. Anyway, hey, it's been a nice little chat tonight about the Grim Reaper. Jeff, thank you for being here. Brian, always great to see you. Of course, Josh, what can I say? Whenever you're here, it's a good deal. Tonight we didn't talk much politics, which you probably would be good at, but we hope you enjoyed being here and being a part of the panel. The same thing is true of Kevin. Kevin, great talking to you tonight.
Stop thinking about it. Live life.
Well, as my father said, life is for the living. He said, after I'm gone, just get on with yours.
Yep.
And Patrick, thank you so much. Say goodnight to Gorgu for me. Also, Alan, thank you. Thank you, Tony. And, of course, Ray, nice seeing you here tonight, too. Thanks for the real depressing talk that we had tonight.
Good luck, Josh. Good luck, Josh.
Yeah, good luck, Josh.
What do you mean, good luck, Josh? What?
Bengals, Super Bowl.
Bengals, Super Bowl?
Yeah.
What's that? Anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give you a big wave goodbye as well. Okay, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel. What a nice bunch of people tonight. Nice show. A little depressing at times, but, that's life, okay? Jack Bishop is next. He's here with The Intersection. You'll be calling him on Skype at GabNet Live. I will be back here on Monday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Facebook with the pop-up show, which is a very popular show. And then we'll be back here again on Wednesday, 10:30, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. Wear a mask, will you? And if you're not wearing a mask, make sure you got those shots. If you haven't got the shots, don't have anything to do with anybody. Just stay far away from them. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Happy Super Bowl Sunday.